In fact, now let's get you in terms of more details as far as what this military parade was all about. There were massive missiles, there were sleek drones, and of course the unmissable thunderous jets that were there. China's Victory Day parade was nothing short of a theatrical display of power. But behind the steel and smoke, are these systems really battle ready? Or were they just military window dressing? That's something the world doesn't know. But from New Delhi's strategic lens, let's get you this reality check that tells you more about these weaponry than just the choreographed spectacle that was on display on Tiananmen Square.
In the heart of Beijing, under Xi Jinping's watchful eye, China unveiled its latest military muscle. 50,000 spectators watched as Xi's war machines thundered to the Tiananmen Square. Hypersonic missiles, AI drones, laser weapons, and enormous undersea drones all rolled out in lockstep. At the front, the DF-61, a massive mobile intercontinental ballistic missile. Reviving a Cold War era designation, this nuclear-capable giant was designed to send a message straight to Washington. Then came the YJ-21, a hypersonic anti-ship missile with unpredictable flight paths, built to outmaneuver naval defenses, on paper at least. Air defense lasers mounted on trucks and warships followed. But lasers in war, still mostly theoretical. Also revealed were the two XL undersea drones, longer than buses, bristling with unknown technology. But the biggest question, do these systems work when it matters? Operation Sindoor gave India the answer. During our precise strikes on Pakistan after the Pahalgam terror attack, Chinese supplied gear deployed by Pakistani forces, drones, jammers, surveillance systems either malfunctioned or were neutralized with ease. The battlefield told a very different story than the Tiananmen Square brochure. Even China's loyal wingman drones and robo-dogs, also part of the show, remain untested in real combat. Xi's military showcase may dazzle the crowds, but anyone with real strategic insight knows credibility isn't built in parades, it's earned on the battlefield. And China's men and machines haven't fought one in 2 generations. Arjun Samar Mahendran for NDTV World.
All right, let's get in General Sanjay Verma to talk more on this. He joins us on the broadcast. General Verma, now we've been talking about the weapons that were on display. They matter to us because at some point of time they're going to land in Pakistani hands. Maybe the watered down versions, maybe in about 2 to 5 years. But I want to first understand from you, you saw the weaponry that was on display. What were your initial thoughts? Were you impressed? Or again, were you also wondering how much of this is actually going to work out on the battlefield? Like in Operation Sindoor, we found out they were not good enough.
Very good afternoon, Gaurie. I think the introduction which you gave, highlighting the key 5 takeaways, are very important. And whether it is, reshaping or re-gearing up of how China is equipping its arsenal. And the question which comes to mind is, how battle readiness are they? I think there are the takeaways. Besides, I'll discuss how we can look at the battle readiness. But first and most important is that the showcasing of its military power on the occasion of the 80th anniversary, look at the timing. The timing was very critical. And in the presence of, not only 25 to 26 world leaders, but along with North Korea, Kim, and Russia, Putin, this was something which is actually more, it sends a loud message. Whether the weapon may deliver or no, this sort of a combination has more to say than what it actually conveys. Coming on to your straight question, whether they will be able to deliver or prove their battle worthiness when they are actually tested and trial and used. Let me first start by saying that some of them were actually like right from the sci-fi, Isaac Asimov era, the sort of the J Mighty Dragon Fighter, then the AI powered, they have this vehicle, 60-meter underwater drone. I mean, these are something which are actually from scientific fiction. But majority of them, or most of them, are also a build-up on their earlier versions, like the missile, like the one which comes with the Dongfang 5, DF-61. These are 12,000 kilometers air-launched and even submarine-launched. Now, they are all from the era of DF-5. So DF-5C coming in or DF-61 coming in is an improvement in technology, an improvement in the sort of capability, range, lethality, and its capability. So while they were looking at silo-based, now they have looked at air-launched also. And there's another interesting worm killer, Dongfang 26D, which is an IRBM. And so if they are, actually giving a name to it as a worm killer,
General Verma,
that means,
then let me ask you this, that what is it that probably struck out the most for you in terms of weaponry to look out for? Any specific set of weaponry that you think really stood out?
Sure. I think the Chinese are trying to break away from their traditional modes, what you were saying, missiles over carrier strategy. Absolutely. So I think it's a takeaway from what they are seeing at what is going on in the Ukraine war. So a preponderance of missile systems, preponderance of air delivery systems, preponderance of drones. Look at the way they have proliferated drones. The loyal wingman. Yes, it raises question whether loyal wingman will be actually accompanying the fighter jet. I mean, I have a little bit of reservation, but it's a very interesting idea. Similarly, then the other drones which they have come, the robo wolves, fine. This technology is possible and is available. So the takeaway from this is that yes, they are learning to break away from the traditional way they were looking at fighting the battle. They are learning from the Ukraine war. They are gearing up to new technologies, and first and the most important thing, how they are integrating AI. They have learned that, and in fact, it is more pertinent to the Chinese army, PLA, the decision making. So they are integrating AI into their battle systems. Now, this is a question which remains still unanswered, because compared to the US way, where the delegation of authority to fight a battle, doctrine, change the strategy is a bottoms-up approach.
All right.
Whereas in China, the way they control it, how they can exploit these weapons, that leaves a lot to answer.
General Verma, very quickly, final question, which is that from an America point of view, this entire spectacle had only one audience. That audience was Donald Trump. Now, from an American point of view, what would be that one section or segment of weaponry that you think the Americans would probably be then spending sleepless night over? Or is there any that they would be spending sleepless night over?
I think what is actually pertinent in our context also, the Americans would also like to strengthen their air defense system. If they are looking at IRBM and ICBMs with the range which they are boasting of, I think we need a robust air defense system. And after that, something to counter these, whether it is by means of directed energy weapons or by means of hypersonic missiles. So these will be the two things which the Americans or any other country now needs to strengthen your air defense umbrella, so that you can counter before it comes actually onto you. And even if it comes onto you, how do you handle that? That should be the priority.
Really what it is, the countries around the world prepare for two things. I'm putting it simply for all those who are non-military background people like myself, which is you put in money in investing in missiles that ensure that they strike the enemy, ensuring that they go past the air defense system. And at the same time, you put in money in ensuring that you have an air defense system that can take down missiles from the enemy side. So that's essentially how you sort of ensure you spend on both aspects of it, simplifying it for all viewers like me who try and keep defense technology and weaponry as simple as it gets. Thank you so much, General Verma, for joining me on Faultlines this week. Well, viewers, if you take off your blinkers, you understand that as far as the Chinese weaponry is concerned, it would be in Pakistani hands in the next few years. Maybe not the top of the line one, but watered down versions would most certainly reach the Pakistani army, which tells you which way this battle will shape up going forward. But beyond China's power projection, for India, there are three clear takeaways. First and foremost, 11 out of the 14 countries that share their boundary with China were there. And apart from New Delhi and Bhutan, the third notable absence was of Afghanistan. That's extremely important. Now, second aspect is that the Chinese will mass produce all that was on display. So over the next course of few years, you will see a lot of this weaponry being produced at a very fast pace. And lastly, the focus will be on unmanned vehicles, whether in air or in sea, indicative of where New Delhi needs to focus, build, and ensure it innovates.